Friends, in the coming days, another strong storm is expected to hit the United States of America. But this storm will not be as strong as it was 4 to 5 days ago, but it will still bring us a lot of snow. There will also be a lot of rain and many thunderstorms. Therefore, the most snow will fall in the central part of the United States of America, as well as in its northern part. There will also be 2 or 3 more fairly strong storms in about 10 days, but we will talk about that in more detail in our forecast. Now let's look at this line of storms. We have strong convective charges passing through us. Here are forming contrails. Literally 2 days ago, that is Sunday, Monday, there were a lot of tornadoes passing through here. It was recorded that more than 70 tornadoes passed through. One of them was Category F5, the wind speed of which reached approximately 300 km/h, or 150 meters per second, 120 to 150, at its peak. There were also about 22 tornadoes of Category F2, and also about 7 to 10 tornadoes of Category F3. Therefore, there was a lot of devastation in these regions. Now the storm is already heading towards the Atlantic Ocean, so it no longer poses such a threat to the states. And of course the eastern part of the United States of America suffered the most, right near the coast. Therefore, in this forecast, we will analyze in more detail what awaits us. We will also talk about wind speed. We will talk about what the weather will be like in general. We will touch on humidity a little. And we will also talk about precipitation, where there will be more, where there will be less. So let's watch. Now let's look at the precipitation expected in the coming days. Therefore, tomorrow we will have a cyclone, so it will pass over the central plains of the United States of America. Accordingly, there will also be precipitation in the mountains, and the cyclone will move right over the central part of the United States of America. Even more towards the northern part, it will advance, and you see it is forming. That is, here one cyclone is splitting into 2, look, it literally merges with another one, so that you understand, this entire front practically occupies 2/3 of the United States of America. Therefore, it is expected that from the 18th, that is, from Wednesday, there will be precipitation. It will move from west to east, so the most will be on the 18th and the night of the 19th. It will probably snow all over Nebraska, South Dakota, North Dakota. This is the 18th, and also on the night of the 19th, Colorado. In the south, by the way, there will be nothing, because this will be the front part of the cyclone. Accordingly, precipitation will occur in the rear part of the cyclone, because cold air will come in from the north. It mixes with warm air that comes from the south, warm and also humid. So it mixes with dry cold air and swirls in the cyclone, and it turns out that there is nothing in the front part. And in the typical part, there is just heavy precipitation. Also, by the way, in Texas, there is a high probability of fires throughout the state. So be careful, I'll talk to you about that later. Let's look further. So if we look even further, the most precipitation will be in the state of Iowa, also the Ohio Valley. And then it will go, look here carefully, so we will have the most precipitation in this state. Most likely it will be about 30 to 40 to 45 centimeters of snow, maybe even more, while in the southern part, there will be practically nothing at all. So let's look even further at the forecast, and you see the cyclone is getting smaller in the center, 989 GPA. That's a lot. Of course, it's not as strong a front as it was a week ago, but still the cyclone is very dangerous, and I don't advise walking under all this precipitation because the wind will be very strong. By the way, we'll talk about that a little later with you. So then the cyclone will move to the Ohio Valley. There will also be precipitation here, about 20 to 30 centimeters of snow, less than in Iowa, but still a lot, so the roads will most likely not be cleared. So friends, rely on your own strength. It's better not to go out anywhere. Stay at home with your loved ones. If you look at the 20th and 21st, here the cyclone will bring even more precipitation, but it will be scattered across the states, meaning the most precipitation will be in the northern part, the northwestern part, and there will also be the most in the northeastern part, as well as the southern part and the coast, as well as Georgia, North, South Carolina, Virginia. So here you will have a lot of precipitation. Most likely there may even be 2 or 3 tornadoes. Thunderstorms may also pass. And by the way, there may also be hail. If you look further into the forecast, the weather will be relatively calm on the 21st and 22nd. Nothing of the sort is expected. The only thing is that in the west, light snowfalls are possible in the mountains, so keep that in mind. Anyone who loves skiing or snowboarding will find this weather to be just right for you. Let's look even further. Nothing like that is expected on the 22nd either. The only thing is that in Arkansas there may also be rain, maybe even some thunderstorms. And also, as always, a small cyclone. Its impact will be on the state of Washington the most. Precipitation in the form of snow, even sleet, is also expected there. Well, if we look even further, we will also have several cyclones passing through here, one in the northern United States of America, and the second one will pass closer to the coast, that is, to the Atlantic Ocean, and will be accompanied mainly by snow. Let's look even further, the 23rd and 24th, and you can already see that on the 23rd and 24th, a storm system is expected, a field of low atmospheric pressure, and there will be a lot of rain in the states of Mississippi, Arkansas, Louisiana, Texas, and Oklahoma. So supercells will most likely form here. There will be hail, squalls, so anything is possible. But we still have at least a week before this forecast. So of course this forecast is unreliable, and we need to see what happens next. So friends, subscribe to our channel so you don't miss the forecasts. Well, if you look straight ahead there on the 25th, the 26th, this cyclone will pass into the Atlantic Ocean through the central states, the Central Plains. It will also pass through the mountains, through the Ohio Valley, and then it will reach the Atlantic. Now let's look at the wind speed at an altitude of 5.5 kilometers above our heads. So pay attention to this jet stream that passes through the entire United States of America. This is the jet stream that forms cyclones and anticyclones. This is exactly what cold, dry air comes into us from the north from Canada, and therefore it displaces warm and humid air. Accordingly, it forms such a strong jet stream. The wind speed there is from 40 to 50 m/s, and it was this flow that fueled all these tornadoes that have been happening here these days. So if you look far away, that atmospheric front is already moving away from us. That is, it is heading towards the Atlantic, and it no longer poses any threat. But if you look at what's happening starting on the 18th, look here, this is the storm system that will bring very strong hurricanes because the wind will blow from the southwest. That is, these are the very favorable conditions for supercells to form. There may also be microgusts. Squalls, so I don't even dare to predict what will happen there because, firstly, it's still 2 or even 3 days before this forecast, and secondly, the wind speed can also change. Let's look even further, and look from the 19th, starting from the 19th. On the 19th at night the wind speed will be maximum, here just in front of the cyclone. Friends, what does this mean? This means that tornadoes can form at night. There may even be a whole line of tornadoes. That is, if these are night thunderstorm tornadoes, you won't even notice them, you may not see them, so it's better not to go out. It's better to see what you will do to go down to the basements, check your sirens, check if everything is working, charge your mobile phones, take power banks with you if you have them. If not, buy them. Charge them because the situation may be critical. Of course, there are still 2 or 3 days left, but it's still 100% certain that there will be severe thunderstorms. Large hail is also expected, and there may even be flooding. All of this fuels these thunderstorms, and it's the strong wind coming in from the south that's also humid. So the humidity and strong winds at an altitude of 5.5 kilometers are the main factors that influence such thunderstorms. Well, if you look further, you can see the wind. It's not going anywhere. It's becoming more like a long strip. And on the 20th, this entire line will pass through the southern states, through the central plains, and even to the northern regions. So let's look further. Look, you see, the cyclone is certainly moving away from us to the Atlantic Ocean. But still, as long as this frontal system exists, thunderstorms can form in its southern part, so there can even be heavy thunderstorms here. Again, large hail can fall, and we can see 2, 3, or even 5 tornadoes. Of course, this will not be the same storm system that was there 5, 7, 10 days ago. Let's look further. Well, then there will be relatively calm weather on the 21st to 22nd. Nothing like that is expected. So if you have any plans for these days, you can basically implement them. I think nothing will stop you. That is, you will have a weekend in calm weather. Let's look. You see here, the cyclone will have small but maximum wind speed gusts. They will be just at sea, so it does not pose a threat. Well, of course, there will be such small cyclones. You see disturbances, unstable front lines, but still anticyclones will prevail over these low fronts, so they generally won't do us any good. Well, let's look even further at the forecast for the 26th. Well, nothing like that is expected. But friends, there are still a lot of things to come. Therefore, let's not look at 2 weeks, because the probability of this forecast is about 15 to 20%, or even less.